Welcome to this episode of Jana Mitten Oil School, where we're talking about focus. Yes, we're talking about focus. We're not allowed to say the words ADHD, ADD, or autism, so we're going to say some other words. Maybe we'll see what happens here. You can read some of it yourself, and I will try to fill in the blanks as compliantly as possible. So let's get started, because I know that there are many of you that need natural solutions for this, and you don't want to take prescription drugs. And I'm going to show you how you can make a difference in your life or your children or your grandkids. So let's get going. How about it? I'm going to share my screen. My name's Jana Mitten. I'm your oil girl, and I've got some things to share with you. So let's get this view going and let's go. Let's focus on natural solutions today. Let's jump right in. So you have choices when you comes to your health. The modern approach to any issues we have is the modern medical approach, and it's designed to manage your symptoms. And it's most of the pharmaceutical drugs are made from isolated synthetic agents that are trying to mimic plants or the effects that plants have. And because they're synthetic and they're not compatible with the human body, there are side effects to all of them, known and unknown. Sometimes some of the side effects, they're not even all listed on the side effects. So there are known and unknown, but this is what you know for sure, that when you take over the counter or any kind of synthetic drug, there is a side effect. There are side effects, and some of them are cumulative by taking them over a long period of time. Some things, prescriptions are prescribed or were researched for short-term use, yet people are using them for years and years. So there's an accumulation of side effects. And unless you cleanse or do some things, those will continue even sometimes after you've stopped taking the drug. But what is the natural approach? It's totally different. We were born to live in a garden, created to live in a garden, the garden of God. He is our creator. And the natural approach addresses the root cause of your issue. It supports your body's needs to heal itself, because the human body is a self-regulated organism. Our cells are programmed to heal themselves, and pills only mask and suppress symptoms, but the cure lies within your human body, beautifully and wonderfully made. Natural approaches are safe to use with no side effects when used safely, properly, with just common sense. Okay, so you can ask me how to get started with natural solutions, and I can teach you to be a healer in your home. That's what I'm all about. So whatever is ailing you, you can call me and we can do a telehealth, or we can do a call, just so you can learn how essential oils have like the chemical footprint similar to the human body, because the plants and the human cells are compatible and symbiotic in their structure, and they have that unique ability to help the immune system and all the systems of the body come into balance, our hormones, even our brain with cognitive issues. And essential oils are fat soluble, and they penetrate the cell membrane to back up all the systems of our body at the cellular level. So there are 3 ways to use essential oils. So we'll be talking today about essential oils and supplements, okay, and nutrition. So you use them topically. So you can just take a roller and roll it on, or you can just take it straight out of the oil bottle and put it on. Any place that you have skin, you can put them on. It's good as if they're diluted. A lot of times these roller balls are diluted. Sometimes they're pure. So it just depends on the sensitivity of your skin, because you want to get it in your bloodstream. In 20 minutes, it'll be in 40 million trillion cells in every cell of your body as it penetrates your skin. And when you dilute it, it actually penetrates better, because it doesn't have the flashpoint of the aromatic volatile compound that is essential oils. Okay. The second way, only Doterra oils are safe to take internally. So you can add them to a glass of water. You can make your own capsules, and I will be telling you about some capsules you can make for focus. Some things you can drink in your water. So you just take an empty capsule like this, and you drip the oils in there, and they, you can do it as needed. And then thirdly, aromatically, you inhale them from a bottle directly. Like you can just take a drop of oil and smell it in the bottle. Yeah, that doesn't even cost, you don't even spend a drop, or you can put a drop in your hand. You can inhale it, you can apply it then. And then if you want to, this right here is grapefruit, and it's one of the free oils in February. I can tell you how to get 4 citrus, actually up to 6 oils free today. And that one I'll just put in my water and drink it. It's great for hormonal balance, great for metabolic support. Yes, that's right. Weight loss. So good. Okay. So aromatically, let's talk about that a little bit more. So how does that work? I mean, isn't that just, you're just smelling something? Well, it is, but your nose is an extension of your brain. Did you know that? And the olfactory bulb. So first of all, your olfactory nerves are inside your nose there, and your nasal cavity receives the input from those aromatic compounds, and then it goes to the olfactory bulb that's behind your nose, and it sends the electrical impulses, because we are electrical beings. And electrical things need something to fire them up, right? We need the oil. So the impulses from the olfactory nerves go to the limbic system of the brain, and the limbic system processes, releases neurochemicals that evoke an emotion and a physical response. This is the place where memories are stored in your brain, where your heart rate can be affected, your blood pressure, just feelings of good or anger, and can calm you, it can excite you, it can stimulate you, depending on the essential oil used. So over on the right here, you see the essential oil diffusers that doTERRA carries. And if you're interested in one of those, they run for different hours, and there's bigger ones, smaller ones. You need one in every room, just FYI. So let's talk about focus. So a lot of times we think about kids, but it's adults too. But the average age of diagnosis for the 4 letters are 7 years old. And when the symptoms usually appear from 3 to 6. So in the toddler ages, after the terrible twos usually. And 6.1% of American children are being treated for ADHD with medication. And the 42% increase in ADHD diagnosis over the past 8 years. You guys, that's almost 50%. And that is that's pre-COVID. So here are some of the common co-occurring conditions with ADHD with the childhood collective. So there also can be additional specific learning disorders such as dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia. That's 50% of kids have another one. That's half, right? 2/3 of the children that have ADHD have speech and language delays. 15% are on the spectrum, and 10 to 33% experience anxiety and depression. Again, pre-pandemic numbers. So we know that's increased, right? So here are some diffuser blends just by diffusing and affecting the limbic system that we can help with focus. Okay, so there's some different blends here. You will see some of the same oils used over and over as I present. So, and then we'll talk about which ones to get at the end. But you see here's a little thing called Liquid Calm. That's Balance, Wild Orange, and Serenity. Serenity is the blend that also helps to sleep, and we'll talk about how sleep is affected as well with AD. With the thing, with the letters. Okay, so here, let's see. So here we go. This is another work from home diffuser blend and a patient's blend, because we know even moms who have kids or moms who have this, have this issue with focus, these are some ways you can support. So you see one here up on the right that is really strong. It's Serenity, Balance, Lavender, and Marjoram. Marjoram is a relaxant. It's like a muscle relaxer if you apply it topically. So you can make that into a roller, or you can literally take lavender and marjoram in a capsule with some grapefruit. Now, grapefruit that I just put in my water, a work from home diffuser blend. So you can put this in your diffuser, 5 drops of grapefruit, 2 drops of frankincense, and a drop of Siberian fir, just to support good focus and to keep you on task. So sometimes working from home and having your kids at home, that's a whole nother level. So moms are support for you too. Here's another diffuser blend for focus: 2 drops of vetiver, which we're going to see a lot of vetiver in this presentation, 2 drops of peppermint, 2 drops of rosemary, and 2 drops of tangerine. And this is good for kids and adults. So let's talk about some more stats. Okay, so children ages 4 to 17 are estimated to have ADHD. Here are the statistics. 83% are boys, and 1 to 3 children out of 30 in a classroom has ADHD. So this is something that a lot of my teachers that are on my in my Doterra community, in my Shalom community, will diffuse in their classroom to support their kids' as ability to focus. There are even statistics on testing, on math tests, even using just wild orange from one classroom to another, and the increase of the scores on testing is dramatic. Okay. So, and then also emotional development, 30% are slower in emotional development than their neurotypical peers. So this means a 16-year-old new driver with ADHD is using the decision-making skills of an 11-year-old. Okay. We had an incident where someone bought a car from us and he was a young kid, and he had already wrecked a couple cars. And sure enough, his dad's like, "This is the last one I'm going to buy you. I'm going to buy you this nice car." And it was just literally a few weeks and he wrecked it. And I mean, like totaled it. So, I'm sure the kid got in a lot of trouble and whatever, but it might just be the emotional development. Even though he was old enough to drive, you might not have had the capacity and the ability to focus. And the good news is we do have car diffusers that'll help you out. So girls with ADHD in Henshaw's study in 2002 were universally rejected by their peers. So a lot of kids were socially isolated. They were bullied, and 65% of children with ADHD have problems with defiance, complying with expectations, and difficulty with authority figures. And if you're a teacher or if you've been around kids, you know this to be true. And this is 65% of the cases. Okay. So brain function, it usually means problems in the frontal lobe, and medication and counseling are usually the first option. So just a little story here. When I used to be the homeroom mom and we would go on an extended trip, we would always have to take a nurse. And I'm like, why do I need a nurse? I'm just going to be gone for the afternoon. The first time this happened to me. And the nurse had to come to dispense medication. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe there are 1 or 2 kids in this class. And when I tell you that over half of the class, I would say at least 65% of the kids, and I don't know what all the medication was for, but it was almost 2/3 of the kids in the class were getting some medication. So we are medicating our children at an unprecedented level in America. So here's an oil that I love. There's not just one oil, because a lot of times, again, when we talk about holistic health, we talk about getting to the root of the issue, right? So, and we're going to get into that. But if there's one oil that just helps to restore focus, stay on task, helps support alertness and clarity and clear thoughts, and support learning, is an oil called In Tune. It is an oil of presence, just helps you to be present. It's a subtle combination of essential oils that combine relaxing and uplifting aromas and a grounding effect. It has a great scent for working or studying, and it creates an environment of calm. You can apply it to the temples, to the back of the neck, as a part of a work or study routine. Then doing one of those good focus blends in a diffuser helps. You can apply it to the wrists or the back of your hands. And then you can also just inhale it deeply. And that gives your brain the ability, to support itself to focus and be calm and focus on the task at hand. So we haven't even talked about, the distraction of the phones and everything like that. So let's talk about high schoolers. So what are your typical behaviors of teens with ADHD? Here's some signs you might see in them at home and at school. So if they're constantly running late, if they're, at home, they miss family meal times, they're late for curfew. This is teenagers, right? If they have trouble getting to school on time and they're often tardy for class, if they have trouble planning and keeping track of time, if they're unexpectedly rude, they say mean things to you or to your siblings for no reason. At school, your child gets in trouble for correcting teachers and challenging authority. And then kids with ADHD might speak without thinking about the consequences of what they say. Okay. They just don't think it through. They just don't have a filter. Okay. So, and sometimes they flake on important things, like your child forgets to pick up a younger sibling. They're missing homework and they don't complete long-term assignments, always calling you, hey mom, I forgot my book. I forgot my homework. Right. The kids with ADHD have trouble with organization and follow through. Some of the other things that we can talk about is they lose track of their belongings. They never can find their car keys. Nobody can find them. They're always borrowing materials because they left their stuff somewhere. Did you have someone in school that never had their paper and they never had a pencil? And they're always like, hey, can I borrow a piece of paper? I had people in my in my classroom that literally every single day I had to give them paper and a pencil, right? And I'm just like, I have extra for these people that I know I'm going to sit by. I know. And I'm just like, give it back to me after class because you're going to want it tomorrow. The issue of kids with ADHD often have trouble coming up with organizational strategies as well. So this is something, if you can help them while they're growing up, give them natural solutions they can use for support, instead of just, lecturing your kids and getting aggravated with them and be like, why are you like this? It's really hard to understand, especially if you don't have that issue. But I want to tell you that it kind of does run in families sometimes, and we're going to talk about that. So here's a study blend: wild orange, peppermint, rosemary, and frankincense in a roller ball, topped off with fractionated coconut oil. So you can screenshot those, or if we do a wellness consult, I'll give you some more of those good recipes that you can. So let's look at ADHD by the numbers. So first of all, some of the kids have hyperactivity disorder, not all, but 13.2% boys and 5% girls. Boys are more likely than girls to be diagnosed with ADHD. And in a recent poll, 60% of the respondents said their kids are taking medication, and 64% have tried child counseling. Now, we're not saying that that is all bad if that's the course you want to take. We're just talking about alternatives here. So you can look at the map of the United States, and I'm in Ohio, and it is in the high range of 14 to 15%. I know some of you are in other states, so you can look and see that. I feel like the places, some of so let's see, Ohio is in the 11 to 13.9%. Yeah, I think so. There's one darker blue. So child prescriptions for ADHD drugs have climbed 50% in 10 years from 2002 to 2012, and 5.2 million children in the US before the pandemic were diagnosed with ADHD. Now, let's talk about comorbidities. 80% of adults with ADHD have at least one other psychiatric disorder. 25% of kids with ADHD have anxiety disorder, and 20% suffer from bipolar or a mood disorder. And the risk of developing learning disabilities in kids with ADHD compared to non-ADHD children is 3 to 5 times greater. So, the younger you can train your kids, you can equip your kids, you can give them natural things that aren't going to harm them, that they can carry in their pocket, put it in their backpack, and they know how to support themselves or make themselves a capsule when they get older, take supplements. We'll talk about the gut health in just a minute. But, 20 to 30% of people with ADHD have substance abuse problems. And I just want to throw this out there, maybe because they were medicated as children. I feel like it's higher than that, because a lot of the people I know who did take things as they were children continue or even have to increase it as they grow older. And 25 to 45% of those children develop a conduct disorder, and 18 to 25% of children with ADHD qualify for autistic spectrum. So we already talked about that a little bit. So, and it's, it can be, it's just something that we need to get a hold of as soon as possible. And I wish I would have known about this when my kids were younger, and when their parents, friends with parents, I would have loved to have had these solutions to share with them. So let's talk a little bit about what it is and what it isn't. So ADHD is an abbreviation for attention deficit disorder. It's the official name also for ADD, a common disorder that can impact focus, impulse control, and emotional responses. It's often diagnosed in childhood, but sometimes not until the teen years or later. So some people just think it's a kid who's unable to sit still or talks too much. That's not really what it is. It's so much more than that. It's more complicated. It's not all about hyperactivity. Sometimes the kids with ADD or ADHD are daydreaming or off in their own world. Sometimes that's what and a problem is not laziness. It causes indifference. It causes differences in brain anatomy and wiring, and something most kids totally outgrow. That's what ADHD isn't something they outgrow. Many kids who are diagnosed have it for the rest of their lives. So the way to help them, there's some great ways to help them. So, these kids have trouble getting and staying organized, managing their emotions and following directions, shifting their focus from one thing to another on a dime, keeping things in their mind, thinking before they say or do anything, getting started on task, focusing on what's important. So some of the ways you can help them is with behavior therapy, medication, or classroom accommodations. So it's more than just kids that talk too much. It's kids that are fidgety, scattering, forgetful, withdrawn. Some of them are quiet and don't say a word. Some of them, kids that are struggling with this and have this challenge, are frustrated by simple tasks. They have a low stress tolerance. Everything stresses them out. They'll cry if they have to go to school, cry if they have to take a test, get overly emotional, have poor emotional regulation. They're sensitive to criticism. They're messy or unorganized. They speak, or some of them can be super, super neat and clean and anal about it, right? They speak out of turn. They struggle to finish things on time. They work hard to conform. They have a hard time saying no and creating boundaries, and a difficult time making decisions. So these are all things that are it's so sad when you see kids struggling with this, but there are some great success stories like will.i.am, Lisa Ling, and David Neeleman, who founded JetBlue Airways. So there are some amazing people that have had and struggled with this. So let's talk about some of the positive traits. So you see over here, Michael Phelps, and he was famously ADHD, maybe on the spectrum. Okay. And there's so many musical geniuses, right, that have or had ADHD or have it. So here are some of the 12 positive traits of ADD and ADHD. You may have an extraordinarily creative mind. You may create innovative products and solutions and think outside the box. You may have hyper focus on the things you can accomplish a month worth of work in one night. Your mind is an idea generator. You excel at an entrepreneurial lifestyle. You look several steps ahead. You're not thinking like most people in the moment, you're in the future. You take immediate action without too much thought. You share the same qualities as some famous people like Justin Timberlake, Albert Einstein, Will Smith, and Richard Branson. You live in the moment. That's your natural state of mind. Your perfectionism delivers high quality products. Your sparkling personality motivates others, and you provide a unique perspective to people. So, it's not all bad. It's just there's some parts of your personality that you have to rein in, and your brain can do it if you have the willpower, and there are natural solutions that can help you support. Because people, out of 100 people with ADHD, 40 have tried alcohol and tobacco and other things, experimented with other things to support them at an early age. Okay. So 25% will repeat at least one grade. 50% have committed and crimes. All right. 25% will be expelled from high school for bad conduct. 35% won't even finish high school. And teenagers are at risk because 50% of inmates have been found to have ADHD. And they're 6 times more likely to be adversarial contacts with the law and to spend time in juvenile detention centers. All right. And sometimes these are brilliant people. Okay. Children with ADHD are compared to children without ADHD without it are more likely to have 59% more injuries, 26% more hospital visits or inpatient, 41% hospital outpatient, and 81% are going to the emergency room. So yeah, it's a problem. But listen, it's not hopeless. There is help. All right. So here's some oils for focus. You can see some recipes here that just support focus. If somebody's fidgety, we would recommend a blend of cedarwood, balance, frankincense, and lavender. Okay. You can screenshot this with your phone if you're watching. You can also write it down. For improved concentration, cedarwood, lavender, Roman chamomile, sandalwood, and vetiver. Again, you're going to see vetiver a lot. And then for focus support, just already blended oils, we have something for kids called Thinker. We have a whole line of essential oil blends and rollers for kids. Thinker is a blend of vetiver, peppermint, clementine, rosemary, and some other oils. And this really promotes focus and soothes the hyper mind, energizes and refreshes the mind and mood, uplifts and focuses the mind, and enhances memory with the rosemary and cognitive support. So that's a great one for kids. It's already diluted. This is something they can take in their backpack. They can just roll it on when they feel like it's wearing off, or if they need a little more support. And let me tell you, just talk to your teachers, and if it helps them, they won't mind them having a little roller in their backpack, right? And then if they just learn to smell it before they're taking a test, or when they feel themselves getting hyper or frustrated, it's just really a great tool for kids to be able to safely support themselves. Well, let's talk a little bit about vetiver. Let's talk about the oils. Okay. So what does it take to make a bottle of vetiver? First of all, vetiver is sourced in Haiti. Haitian farmers produce vetiver. They are a part of a premium to leave the roots in the vetiver. This is a root, and it grows up to 50 feet in the ground. So it is deep, deep rooted in earth, and it smells like earth. It smells like dirt, but it's a good smell. If you love the smell of earthy, right? It's so earthy. It is from the earth, and it's from this beautiful tropical island, and you get all the benefits of that soil. I mean, the thing is, we are made from soil. If you believe the Bible, we were created from soil and from the depths, and my dad used to say, we're just dirt bags in a skeleton with a meat on the bones, filled with a Holy Ghost from another world. What are we afraid of, right? So we just got to get it supported here. So you can see here the main chemical constituents in vetiver, cousamol and isovanolicanol. I don't know how to say that last word. But that's produces that fragrance of the earth in there. And there are 42 published studies on the benefits of vetiver. And it is an amazing oil. So right here are some beautiful favorite diffuser blends. Now, vetiver is really thick, like maple syrup. It's very, very thick. All our oils are different colors and different smells and different consistencies because they come from different plants from all over the world. So if you want a fresh rain smell, 6 drops of lemon and 3 drops of vetiver. And if you're using vetiver in your diffuser, you're going to have to clean your diffuser almost every time, but it's worth it because it's very thick. Okay. Some of the oils are very viscous and very thin, but not vetiver. Okay. So you can see calming afternoon, an overstimulated mind. And one of the oils I use for sleep is I'll put a strip of vetiver across my forehead, on the back of my neck, and on the bottoms of my feet. It takes 3.5 pounds of that vetiver root to make 1 bottle of the vetiver essential oil coming from Haiti, where we also support those farmers with clean water, homes that are probably better than most of the people that live there. They get a fair wage. So they're the people, and they have a community center that Doterra built for them. The people that are Haitian farmers for Doterra really have a wonderful life, but they work hard and they're amazing, wonderful people. So they love that they get to bless people all over the world with the product that they produce there in Haiti. So this is an oil this is what I would recommend, because we haven't really talked about the gut issue. So, I talked about at the beginning, holistic health. We like to look at the root, and a lot of the problems with a lot of children with ADHD is their gut health. And if you don't have you have a doctor and they just give you a prescription and they don't tell you anything about the diet, run. Okay. Go find somebody that will help you with the diet. Let me tell you a couple things about, I'm going to go back here, but a healthy foundation. Okay. We have something called the lifelong vitality vitamins. And even if your children are young, you can break them open and put them in a smoothie. All right. Now the Doterra lifelong vitality vitamins, I'm going to give you the package here with the vitamins. They're essential vitamins. They're bioavailable, mineral, whole food based. They're created to be recognizable as food nutrients. So your body recognizes them as food, and they have a full spectrum ingredients. That means they take advantage of nature to promote your optimal health. So there are over 12 servings of fruit and vegetables every day in a serving. So if your child has not been helped with their diet as far as their ADHD, literally stop everything you're doing and let's talk about supplementation and let's talk about their nutrition, because I've seen amazing results. Now there might be more, you might need to call me with working on gut health and diet. Okay. So you can't eat enough with our current soil condition in the United States of America to get the nutrition you need. So you need to supplement. These supplements are free of GMOs, dyes, and fillers and synthetics. Now, other supplements always use synthetics in the place of whole food supplements. They have low bioavailability, that your body cannot absorb the vitamins and nutrients anyway. They're highly concentrated and they overwork the body system to process them. They have added dyes and sweeteners, binders, and fillers that are unnecessary or cause other gut issues. But let's talk about the Doterra lifelong vitality vitamins. There are 3 bottles that you see here. They're a 3-tier system. It's a great value because you get food with nutrients that equal a 30-day supply of 132 ounces of tuna, 45 ounces of salmon, 37.5 cups of brown rice, 2 gallons of chocolate milk. I mean, it just goes on and on. 24 cups of edamame, 75 cups of Swiss cheese, 30 cups of sunflower seeds. Now, if you can get your kids to eat 50 medium carrots in a month, yeah, but these are the purest without the GMOs. And 30 cups of almonds, that means a cup of almonds every day. So I'm just saying, if you, like me as a mom, feel so guilty that your kids are not getting the nutrition they need, you really need to look into the lifelong vitality vitamins. Also, the ADHD natural treatment for the things you should avoid. The things you should avoid are candy, corn syrup, which is in everything almost, right? Honey, sugar, white flour, white rice, and potatoes, caffeine, gluten, MSG, nutrites, or artificial sweeteners, and soy. Those are things to avoid. And then what should you try to get your kids to eat, or yourself, right? If it's you that has the ADHD, meat, eggs, cheese, nuts, and beans, high protein, yummy, right? High protein foods, food rich in B vitamins, complex carbs like vegetables, oranges, pears, grapefruits, apple, kiwi, tangerines, things high in magnesium. And then the ugly, you don't want processed food, okay? You don't want candy, potato chips, pretzels, sugary cereals, chicken nuggets, enriched bread, instant soup, ramen noodles, fast food, commercial desserts. No, no, no. Okay. And then for the overall tip, high protein foods for breakfast and snacks for focus, and eat complex carbs for dinner to help with sleep. So here are some of the things you want in your supplements, which just happen to be in LLV: fish oil and omegas, zinc, serotonin, B complex, probiotics, and GABA. So let's talk some more about GABA. How do you get GABA? Okay, so I'm going to take you back to this kit here, the Evolve Mind and Mood Kit. This is what I recommend to get you started. And this is the Lifelong Vitality Vitamins, the 3-tier system. Again, any age can take these. You would just want one of each a day for a child. For a grown person, you take the full dose, right? And then you adjust accordingly. Then that comes to, you have your omegas, you have oil, your body recognizes as food, 12 servings of fruit and vegetables. Also, the adaptive blend comes with this, and the adaptive system, you get a whole kit of adaptive. So you get the ones you take orally, the capsules, the roller, and the oil, and the amazing wild orange. So you can diffuse it. You see some great diffuser blends right there with adaptive and wild orange. You can also, let's see, I have some more facts about adaptive here. I thought, yeah, here it is. You can inhale it, the oil, to soothe your anxious or overwhelmed feelings. You can apply it behind your ears before performances or meetings, or if you're playing sports or a workout. You can inhale it as you work up the courage to get out of bed in the morning. You can smell it if you have a stressful situation. So I have a little diffuser that I take to the dentist because that's when I have anxiety, and I just shoot this little thing right in my face with some adaptive, and it helps me to relax during my treatments. You can diffuse it at night for a restful night's sleep. You can put it in Epsom salts for a peaceful bath after a long day, and it smells amazing, y'all. It creates a relaxing atmosphere, or when you're feeling compulsive. So what it has in it is the capsules actually have GABA, scalecium, ahi flower, fennel, wild orange, coriander, and lavender. And then the rollers have lavender, magnolia, and neroli. You know it smells good. All those flowers, right? Neroli is wild orange blossoms, wild orange, spearmint, copaiba, and rosemary. So you can diffuse, apply topically, and then take those internally. And here is, let's see, back up here. This is if you see there at the bottom where it says HTTPS, doterra.me, that is the link to get your Evolve Mind and Mood Kit. And that also has a couple of products for sleep in there as well, because one of the other things that people have ADHD have is trouble sleeping, many times, right? Unless they just wear themselves out and they go to sleep easily. But a lot of people, a high number of people that have it also have trouble sleeping. So there's some oils in there for sleep support as well. Also for the gut issue, we're going to do a follow-up to this class for people that want to talk more about the gut issue and nutrition. So there was a supplement we have called Terrazyme, and it is a blend of whole food enzymes, and it helps for your body to metabolize enzymes and your vitamins that you have, you're getting in your nutrition or in the supplements even more efficiently. Okay. It is an amazing tummy tamer. It's safe and effective, and it helps to manage a healthy waste elimination, but also gets rid of the toxic waste that's in our body, and it converts nutrition and nutrients into energy in your cells. Another thing is a probiotic. So if your child or you suffer with ADHD or you're challenged by it, one of the things I really recommend is you get your gut in order. And the PB Assist Junior is a delicious powdered probiotic. It has 5 billion live cells, or 6 strains of friendly flora. It supports healthy function of the digestive and immune system and optimal metabolism. And it's like a pixie stick. It's delicious. It's like a strawberry pixie stick, and the kids love them. You can put them in their lunch, and they'll be like, I'm telling you, they will beg for it. It is amazing. They can also take it to school with them, like, if they're having trouble focusing. Again, here's the link, or if someone else invited you to this class or shared this with you and they are in doTERRA and they have a link text them right now and ask them for the link. Hey, how can I get that Evolve kit? Or if you've watched this and you made a wish list of things you think you might want, send that to them and they'll create a cart for you. You can just click on. Now, if you're here in February, I have some special things for you. So you need to contact me directly. And please don't order unless you talk to me, because you will want the free things that I'm going to give you, the free oils. Okay. Because there's up to 6 and all of them are good for focus. So I'm going to stop my recording. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and follow if you love this content, and share it with someone who needs it, someone that you love. Shalom.